Shalom, shalom, my brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another end of the week Sabbath class. I'm your brother Ananias.
Brother Ezekiel.
And we are A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel. And as always, it's an honor and a privilege to come before you each and every Sabbath to give you another uplifting and edifying lesson with hopes and regard of teaching our brothers and sisters, to edifying our brothers and sisters, our nation, and helping to restore and rebuild our nation of people brick by brick. So we appreciate you, brothers and sisters, tuning in as always, and those who will tune in later on, Lord willing. But before we get started, as always, we want to give all honor, glory, praise to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being his Son, who the world calls Christ in the Paleo Hebrew. And through his strength, sacrifice, and example, we are all able to be here today to be uplifted and edified in the spirit. So once again, brothers and sisters, we appreciate you all tuning in. And today's class is a topic that we're going to deal with. And everybody that's been through this stage in their life, but in these last days, it's something that needs to be addressed as we continue to awaken as a nation of people and to restore ourselves to greatness. We have to go over these topics. And today's topic is called, Why Am I Still Single? Why am I still single? Now, last week or the week prior, the brother brought out an amazing class dealing with divorce, So we're going to take a step forward and go, or step backwards and go to the part before you even get married, to when you're in the single stage. All right. Because this is what we go through as a nation today. And for the most part, we think it to be cool to be single. We have basically been fooled or beguiled by the ways of this society that we live in, to thinking that it's cool. A lot of us are single due to, a deceased spouse or whatnot. Some have never even had a husband or a wife. Some divorced, but single nonetheless as a nation of people. And we don't even know why we are single the way we are. And we rejoice in wickedness, as the scriptures say, but we are not supposed to be rejoicing in that. This world that we live in right now has everything flipped upside down. And we have taken it and ran with it and think it to be something good. All right. And then in certain situations, people even feel single within a marriage. But this class, or this series that we're going into, is going to be a 2-part series. All right. So this is part 1, and this is mainly going to be dealing with the men. All right. So once again, this class is called Why Am I Single? We're going to be dealing with the men today, because in order to be single or be in a relationship, we all know that it takes two, And we ain't dealing with what the world say, where a man could be with another man and a woman with another woman. That's off. We going strictly by what the Lord said, a man and a woman were a woman and a man. All right. So we're going to start off with the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, in the Apocrypha. All right. All right. Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, in the Apocrypha, chapter 5, verse 15. You got that, King?
Yes, sir. Book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 5, verse 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small.
So the word ignorant means to lack thereof. Don't be ignorant. Don't be lacking of anything in a great matter or small, meaning understanding. Don't be ignorant, lacking in any understanding in a great matter or small. So this is what we're going into, dealing with a man being single. You know what I'm saying? We want to understand and break it down fully, where brothers and sisters get a clear understanding as to why we shouldn't be that way, why we are that way, and some of the things that transform or transpire while being that way, and how to overcome that and push forward. But the Lord tells us not to be ignorant of a small thing or a great, or a small or a great thing. All right, from there, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16. Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16. Because in this world that we live in, it's a bunch of wickedness, a bunch of lies, deception, where we don't know which way to move as a people. We've been caught in this web of deceit, and we don't know which way to move to free ourselves. But this is what the Lord commands us to find our way. Bring it out, King.
All right, Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the way, and see and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein.
You see that last part? That's how we ended up in the situation we in right now. The Lord laid out everything plain as day, straight path, straight commandments for us to follow in order to be successful, to lead down those paths that were good. He gave us straight commandments to live by. But we said, to hell with that. We're going to walk after our own way. We're going to walk after the ways of the heathen. But it said, if you would stand in the ways and see and ask of the old path. So in order for us to find our way back to peace, to greatness, to the good ways, we got to go back to the old way. We got to go back and ask our forefathers. We got to read the scriptures. We can't just turn on YouTube and look up, why am I single? Why I can't find nobody? Why every time I choose somebody, it don't work out for me? YouTube doesn't have the answer for that, but the Lord has the answer for that. You know what I'm saying? When you look back through your family trees, you'll start to see that, hey, family members couldn't figure it out. It was not being taught. Because our forefathers said we will not walk in the way of the Lord. That's why we lost today as a nation of people. We don't know which way to go. Like I said earlier, we stuck in that web of deceit, following the ways of the world, following the oppressor, following the ways of the heathen. But the Lord said, if we want to find our path, we want to figure out what's going on and how to correct it. Stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths. When you say ask, that means pray. You got to ask the Lord for understanding, for guidance. That's why we always state, and I apologize to you, brothers and sisters, I do this every week, but this is why we got to pray for our nation of people. Pray for the nation of Israel day in and day out, because we going through ups and downs constantly. We dealing with the wickedness of this world. We dealing with the wicked thoughts of our mind, our fleshly bodies breaking down on us. We got to pray for our brothers and sisters constantly, for the strengthening of our spirit, the strengthening of our household, for our will to push on, to endure all things. Hey, this is what we must do. That's how we got to ask for the old path, by praying to the Most High, turning back to the old ways. What I want to do now is show you a quick video. I got a couple of, but show you a video on things that you might not be aware of that are right in your face, and all you got to do is ask the questions. But check this out.
GPT, if you were the devil, how would you destroy men in the 21st century?
If I were the devil and I wanted to destroy men in the 21st century, I'd start by removing their sense of purpose. I'd make them comfortable with mediocrity. I'd drown them in distractions, video games, endless scrolling, mindless entertainment, until years slip by and they wonder why they never built anything meaningful. I'd distort masculinity itself. I'd make strength seem toxic, leadership oppressive, and responsibility a burden. I'd make men ashamed of being men, stripping them of their natural role as protectors and providers, leaving them directionless, weak, and dependent. I'd promote pleasure over progress. I'd make them chase dopamine hits instead of real fulfillment, porn instead of real relationships, junk food instead of health, short-term gains instead of long-term success. I'd make vice feel like freedom and discipline feel like imprisonment. I'd sever them from faith. I'd make them believe that religion is outdated, that submission to God is weakness, and that morality is subjective. I'd fill their minds with nihilism and hedonism until they believe life has no real meaning beyond chasing their next high. I'd keep them alone, weak, and vulnerable, because a man with no tribe, no purpose, and no faith is the easiest to control.
Did you hear that?
Mm.
The man just asked the phone a question or the chat GPT. If he were the devil, how would you destroy men? And it went into all of that. And this is something that actually is happening and is going on. But we as a people don't understand these things. You can see it, you just don't want to admit to it. But that's all that's going on around us right now. They are constantly destroying the image of man, you know, especially the so-called black man or the Israelite man. They are destroying us left and right, making us null and void. Where when we speak, no one wants to listen, or when we speak and try to lead, they show us to be in a position that we don't know anything because we've been on the bottom so long. You know, they want to occupy us with things that mean nothing, video games, endless scrolling, sports. This is where we focus and put all of our time instead of focusing on the real problem at hand. You know, we see the problem, but we try to ignore it. And this is what society is promoting. For us to be dumbed down to where we are null and void. And when we try to stand up, we are considered to be toxic. So it's no wonder why you see society in a predicament that it's in right now, especially our nation of people. So let's go to the book of Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12 right quick. The book of Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. We must be aware of what's going on. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. You got it?
I was just gonna pull it up. I get it right fast. Ephesians 6 and 12.
You know what? Start at verse 10.
All right. Book of Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might.
This is the first thing we got to do as men. Though we in a society where men run around thinking it's cool to be single, to run around and be promiscuous and, you know, just laying down with different women left and right, you know, can't nobody tell us nothing. You know, no wisdom is being passed to and fro unless it's about getting money, you know. But the Lord is saying, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. We got to be strong in the faith, having faith in the Lord and keeping his commandments. In the power of his might, what he would do for us when we, or how he would reward us for being diligent, being obedient. But read on.
All right. Verse 11. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Got to put on the whole armor of God, meaning this is why we must study and show ourselves approved. When we read, we understand what's going on in this world. We understand the mindset of our enemies. We understand what our people are going through. We understand how the oppressor is trying to consistently oppress us as a people. So we got to put on the full armor of the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that we may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil, meaning the wickedness of this world, the things that he's going to try to take us down with, whether it be your family members, your friends, your job, even the woman that you're pursuing. We must be able to put on that armor as warriors in the army of the Lord. That's how we truly show ourselves to be men. But read.
Yes, sir. Verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Spiritual wickedness in high places. These are the individuals who are ruling the world. That's what Job 9 and 24 is speaking about. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Wicked individuals in high places who make the rules, who shape society, who tell you what you should be learning in your school systems, who tell you what's good to eat, what's healthy or not, who tell you what the trends are going to be. You know, spiritual wickedness in high places. This is what we're battling here in this world because we pulled away from the Lord. We said we will not walk therein, keeping your commandments, to find the things that were good. This is why we got to take a step back from what they're trying to provide to us or promote to us and actually go back to the old path. Why are they trying to create all this new technology, these different apps or whatnot, to try to keep you preoccupied where you have no time for the Lord or to redefine yourself or develop yourself? They want to keep you preoccupied constantly throughout the day where it will seem like you don't have enough time in the day to do anything. It's like you wake up, work, sleep, wake up, work, sleep. Same constant pattern every day. Spiritual wickedness in high places. You know, the Lord ain't make it like that. He didn't set it up for that. But because of our rebellion, this world is upside down right now. From there, let's go to Hosea chapter 10, verse 13. So we got to understand that we're in a battle against spiritual wickedness. These are the same people that promote to us that being single is cool. Yeah, man, I ain't got no commitments. I ain't got nobody hold me down. Man, I ain't got nobody, man. I can go out there and do what I want to do. I can go sleep with this sister over here, that sister over there, that brother, that sister, all that wickedness. That's how our people are today. Read that, verse 13.
Yes, sir. Yea, have power. Excuse me. Ye have plowed wickedness. Ye have reaped iniquity. Ye have eaten the fruit of the lies, because thou didst trust in thy way, in the multitude of thy mighty men.
See it? We have plowed wickedness. That's like when you are starting a garden or a farm or whatnot. In order to start tilling the ground, you got to break it up. You got to plow the ground. The Lord said we have plowed wickedness. We have reaped iniquity. You know, the saying is you reap what you sow. What you plant is what you're going to eat or what's going to grow. So the Lord said we plow wickedness, we plant wickedness, and we reaping sin. You have eaten the fruit of lies. We love lies here in this society. The society tell you, hey, you can do what you want to do. You know, it's better to be single. You ain't got to be, what they say, having an old ball and chain. It's better to be single. I ain't trying to hang on my player cleats or my player card. You know?
Mm. Hey, what they say, why bring sand to the beach?
Right.
That type of mentality.
And when you do this or when you act on this, this is going strictly against the commandment. This is where you start hoeing out your sisters, brothers. When you thinking that you can just run around and sleep with this sister and lie to this sister here and there, you begin to whore out and commit whoredom and spread that throughout your nation of people. Even brothers in this truth doing these things, supposedly being in this truth, lying to the sisters, using the scriptures in a wicked manner to get what they want. Hey, you commit whoredom, fornication amongst the nation, wickedness, you know. But you have been fooled thinking that that's the way to move by spiritual wickedness in high places, you know. But from there, let's go to Isaiah chapter 30 right quick. Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1.
All right.
This is why we must be aware of Satan's wicked inventions.
All right.
So that he does not get an advantage over us.
Mm-hmm.
But read that, King.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin.
You see that? First thing he said, woe to the rebellious children, the children of the house of Israel. Destruction coming to us, saith the Lord, that take counsel, meaning take advice, take leadership, but not of me. And that cover with the covering, meaning they take protection, refuge, with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Think about that. Man, I'm gonna use the scripture to manipulate this sister to get her to do what I want her to do. Or without even being in the truth, you're gonna use worldly things to try to manipulate sisters or justify your wickedness. That's why the Lord said, hey, woe to the rebellious children. You brothers, our brothers, that take counsel but not of the Lord. They don't want to read. They don't want to hear the laws of the Lord. They don't want to walk therein. They want to walk in their own transgression. They want to justify their wickedness. You know, we got to move out of it. Woe to the rebellious children. All right. I'll show you another video right quick.
Love that should be transparent is now love that should be transparent is now transactional. And nowadays, people want to be held every kind of way except accountable. You know what's crazy though? When you break a bone, you put a cast on it, right? But now things are reversing. We actually coming out with podcasts that's leaving our people broken. It's always the same narratives. It's either should a man and woman go 50-50? Who's bringing what to this imaginary table? Or this is why the woman should be submissive. Look, let's end this. Because on the surface, we live in life, every dream. But internally, we've been broken as long as McDonald's ice cream machines. Love.
You see that? We've been broken just as long as McDonald's ice cream machine. Now that's crazy because everybody know that. But they a worldwide organization. But they ice cream machine always broken. But he's saying we as a people have always been broken. When we had a disconnect with the Father, when we got dismantled, destroyed as a nation, this is the mindset that we have. We don't want to hold each other accountable. And we don't even realize that everything is backwards. Everything, like he said in the beginning of the video, everything nowadays is transactional. What I have to do in order to receive this. Play it again right quick, just the first part of it.
Love that should be transparent is now transactional.
Transactional. It should be transparent. I have to do this and do that just to get your name and number. All of these different things.
And nowadays, people want to be held every kind of way except accountable.
Nobody wants to hold themselves accountable today. They want to point the finger, play the blame game. That's a childish mindset that we have as a nation of people. And it's from the young all the way to the old. Everybody want to point the finger. Nobody wants to hold themselves accountable. In the relationships that they have been in or the people that they deal with, they don't want to hold themselves accountable. Especially those who have been in multiple relationships or marriages. Not realizing that they have been in each and every one of those relationships that did not work out, but steady pointing the finger and blaming somebody else. We as men must hold ourselves accountable at all times, but recognizing that this world that we're living in right now is upside down. Why is it like that? Let's go to the book of Psalms chapter 82 right quick. Psalms chapter 82. Classic precept. We all should know it if you've been in this truth for a minute. If not, hey, follow along, take notes. Let's go to Psalms chapter 82.
All right.
Verse 5, I believe. That's what I want. Yeah.
The book of Psalms, chapter 82, verse 5. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course.
All the foundations of the earth are out of course. Even us as men, thinking that we are men and don't even know the example or the definition of what a man is. we have been taught what a man is based on what we see on TV. Think about that. We never learned what a man was. All we based it on was what society told us or what we seen on TV. And majority of us men thought that being a man was just paying the bills, being good in bed, you know, having a nice car, maybe a nice house. That's not being a man. I mean, because a woman can do that. Think about it. A woman can make good money. She can have a nice car. She can have a nice house and have money in the bank and be good in bed. That don't make her a man.
Right.
Think about this. So we have been misled, beguiled by society or wickedness or spiritual wickedness in high places to not even know what a real man is. And hell, even in today's society, when just flipping the script a little bit, how many times have we turned on social media or the TV, the news, and seen where they asking women, hey, what is a woman? They can't even give an answer. Everything is out of order. They know not, meaning the Israelites. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. We walking in darkness in this world that we living in. Even though the sun come out every day, it's still darkness that we living in because everything that we strive to learn or know is going against the light that was created for us, or against Yahweh B'Ashem Yahushua. And it said all the foundations of the earth are out of course, meaning out of order. Everything is out of order.
Nothing is like it's supposed to be.
Exactly. Nothing. Society say a man can marry another man, a woman can marry another woman, and everybody's cool with it. Oh, just let them be. Nah, that's off. You got books being written and taught in school. Me and my two moms, me and my two dads. That's all.
And instead of being frowned upon, they look up to it.
Right.
And that the people who frown on it.
Exactly. Everybody's scared to speak. It used to be able to speak against wickedness. Now everybody is speaking evil against what's good. That lets you know how backwards, how upside down things are, how out of course this earth is that we live in. All right. So from there, let's go to Ephesians chapter 5, verse 6. This whole world is out of order that we living in. Brothers got to understand that. The things that we think is good is not good. Oh, man, I'm just going to go get it, graduate, go get this money. No, that's a foolish mentality. Because what do you do once you get the money? Where your mindset at then? Ephesians chapter 5, verse 6.
All right. The book of Ephesians chapter 5, verse 6. Let no man deceive you with vain words, for because of these cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience.
You see that? Let no man deceive you. Let me blow that up a little bit. Deceive you with vain words, meaning with lies. Hey, brother, you can do what you want to do, man. Why you want to get married, man? Got all these women out here, man. Why you want to get married, man? The answer to that should be because thus saith the Lord. If I lay down with a sister, that's supposed to be my wife. I will surely endow her to be my wife. So it wouldn't be no, I'm sleeping around with that sister, with that sister, with that. If it was some responsibility tied to it, which this society does not teach, which goes against the Most High, the laws, statutes, and commandments. You know what I'm saying? Let no man deceive you with vain words. These rappers, these actors, hey, don't be deceived by what you see on TV or hear through the radio. For because of these things cometh the wrath of the Most High upon the children of disobedience. That's when we get them judgments, them punishments. We get jammed up on them child supports because we ain't doing things according to the Lord, and it ain't being taught nowhere. Everybody pointing the finger, she wasn't no good. Nah. You made the wrong decision, brother. We made the wrong decisions because we were not informed. because we didn't stick to the script. So we went out there listening and seeing what we seen on the TV and what we heard on the radio, and went out there making foolish mistakes. We never truly developed ourselves to be men before going out there trying to be the man, trying to be husbands, trying to be pimps and players. We didn't even understand what it meant to be a man. Because if we did, we wouldn't have been out there trying to be pimps and players. We would have understood the need to build our nation.
Right.
In order for a nation to be strong, you need strong families. And in order for a family to be strong, it has to have the man and the woman together. Not women and kids over here and vice versa. Things had to be in order.
Right.
You know.
And the family leadership, man.
Read that one more time, King.
All right. Book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 6. Let no man deceive you with vain words, for because of these things cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience.
You see that? All praise.
Yes, sir.
Like the brother said right here, where no hedge is, meaning where there's no protection, the possession is spoiled. And we don't have that protection of the Most High. The possession, the nation of our people going to be destroyed. And the families, if the men don't have that protection over the household, hey, the protection going to be spoiled, or the possession, the families, the nation will be destroyed. And he that have no wife will wander up and down mourning. And that's exactly what's going on in society. Even though everybody trying to play their role like everything is cool to be single. You know, hey, man, I can do what I want to do. I ain't got no ties to nobody. I come and go as I want. Nah, you walking up and down the street, wandering and mourning. Why she ain't responding to my text? I call her. Why? She must be with somebody. Nah, you mourning right now. You know, all praise to that precept right there. You know, but don't be deceived by the things that we hear, you know, through the music, through the TV, through society, in our neighborhoods, even in our families. Don't be deceived with vain words. Seek the things that's going to bring peace to our nation, that's going to uplift us and restore us as a nation. All right. From there, let's go to 2nd Ezra right quick. Book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 14 and 15.
All right.
Why am I still single? For one, we don't even realize that we being lied to. So it's like being handed a fixed hand and expected to win the game. You know what I'm saying? And the other nations know this. They ain't gonna never be able to succeed following lies. There's no truth in that. Read that, King.
All right. Book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 14, verse 15. And set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee. And
Matter of fact, Salaki, King, start at verse 14. Matter of fact, start at 13.
All right. 2nd Ezra, chapter 14, verse 13. Now therefore set thine house in order, and reprove thy people. Comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption.
You see that? That's the first one of the first things that we got to do, or main things that we have to do as a people. We got to set our houses in order. And that's before we actually leave the household. Before we leave our house, leave our parents, hey, it need to be set in order. Then when we get to the point of being a man, where we understand what a man is and how to stand in the role of a man, then we got to set our own houses in order and reprove thy people, comfort such of them that be in trouble, and renounce corruption. Because what society teaches is nothing but corruption. And we eating it up, like the scripture said. We plowing wickedness and we reaping iniquity. We got to renounce that. We got to speak against it. Read on.
Verse 14. Let go from the mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature.
Put off that weak nature. running around thinking it's cool to sleep with a bunch of women and whoring out your nation of people, that's a weak nature right there. You know, thinking, oh man, ain't no point in me getting married, man. I just be out here doing this and doing. That's a weak nature. You have no trust in yourself or your people. Because as a man, you're supposed to lead your relationship. It's not supposed to be based on your woman ruling over you, or what's the word I'm looking for? Messing you over. I use that. A lot of men are scared to get married because they don't want to get screwed over by a woman. But you as the man supposed to be the leader, the one that's supposed to be able to vet that woman before you choose her to be a part of your team, so to speak. Your helpmate, you know. As a man, we supposed to vet these women that we choose to make our wives. You know, it's our responsibility to do that. But a lot of brothers don't do these things. But read on.
All right.
15.
Verse 15. And set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times.
So we got to set aside those thoughts that are heavy to us and flee from these times. Read.
Verse 16. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter.
So things are going to get worse, my brothers and sisters. Things going to get worse. So it's more important, it's more pertinent now for you to dive deep into these scriptures to get an understanding on how to move and how to think, because things are going to get worse as time go on. Read.
Verse 17. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein.
So as the scripture just said, this world is growing weaker by the day, by the year. So the evils shall increase. Think about that. Evils are going to increase in this world. So this is why it's that much more important for us to be able to open the Bible, read it, understand it, pray, fast, get a clear-cut understanding as to how we're supposed to move as men. First, to be able to define what a man is. We'll get into that in a little bit. And then to be able to move as a man, to be able to discern. That's a better word than vet. Discern the women that you decide to make your wife, or anything that you decide to do in life through discernment. Because evil shall increase. But read on.
All right. Verse 18. For that time is fled far away, and leasing is, let me read from there. Verse 18. Okay, verse 18. Hold on.
You good? Read it.
All right. I must have got it. I was on my book.
I'll read it.
All right.
Book of 2 Ezra, chapter 14, verse 18. For the time is fled far away, and leasing is hard at hand, for now hasteth the vision to come which thou hast seen. So for those who don't know what leasing is another word for lying. And all praises, brother Benaiah, who brought that out a while back to bring that definition out. All right, this is Merriam Dictionary definition of leasing. It says the act of lying, lie, falsehood. So when we go to the scriptures and we read it, it's not talking about leasing a car. That's not what it's talking about. It said, for the time is fled far away, and leasing, meaning lying, is hard at hand. It's at an all-time high right now. Our people will lie for the hell of it, not even for a reason. They'll just lie for the hell of it. So we got to understand these things as well. This is where we must take time to step back and correct ourselves as men. What the hell we lying for? If we got to lie, that means the truth ain't in us. If we got to lie, that shows that we ain't really men. If we feel the need to lie. Think about that. because you're not holding yourself accountable when you gotta go speak lies. Think about that. You got anything you want to add, King?
Oh no, you got it right now. Go ahead.
All right. So I got another video right quick. All right. Where is it? Yeah, that's it. No, that's not it. Bear with me, Israel. There you go. All right.
I said to my sons, if you have to convince a woman and pursue her, but I want to not use the word pursue. I want to use the word convince, right? Yeah. If you have to convince a sister, a woman, that you are a good option, that you're her best option, right? By jumping through hoops, by proving yourself, by buying her stuff, by telling her what she wants to hear, she's not the one for you. That's what I tell my sons. Why do I say that? Because she clearly does not see you as her best option, right? She thinks you're just one of many, or maybe you're okay, but maybe another better one is coming, right?
You're on lay-by. Yeah.
Right, you're on lay-by, and if you stick around in lay-by long enough, she may give you a chance.
Yeah.
Now, if you finally convince her to marry you, what's going to happen in that relationship? What's going to be the power dynamic in that relationship?
Yep.
You've basically signed up for a life of her on a pedestal and you working overtime to please her. And sisters, unfortunately, hate it when I talk about this, right? Because this is the model we've been presented by society. I said to my sons,
You see that? Now, that was great wisdom that she spoke to her sons about, you know, raising them up to understand these things. I don't know why she hiding the face or if she's of the Arab nations of Ishmael or not, but she covering her face up, but she's telling you what she teaches her sons. This is where we should be teaching our kids growing up, you know, especially in the young men, you know. We're going to get a couple precepts to go into that.
Hey,
Yeah, go ahead, King.
yeah, and like you said, we have to teach our kids that, especially the men. But at the same time, don't wait till they 17, 18 years old to start trying to teach them that. You have to start
Right.
from a young age, so it'll be instilled in them. Because by the time they get certain ages and you go trying to teach them stuff at a later age, by that time it's too late. A lot of the time, not all of the time.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, right quick. We're going to start at verse 5. We have to explain this truth at an early age. You know, the same way you would put a basketball or a football in the child's hand at an early age, or a damn microphone or a phone. Hey, put wisdom in their hand, put wisdom in their ear, in their mind, in their hearts. Give them understanding. That's why the Lord commands us in Deuteronomy, I believe it's chapter 4. No, it's verse 6. Deuteronomy chapter 6, where it speaks about teaching the child on a day-to-day basis, all day throughout the day. Before, when they wake up, while you walking around, going to and fro, and before they go to sleep. You speaking about the wisdom of the Bible. You know, don't wait till they get up in age to try to drop wisdom on them. They're gonna be looking at you crazy. They might take in 5% of it, but think about if you would have been doing that every day from their youth up. It would have been wiser than we are. But go ahead, with Proverbs chapter 1, verse 5.
Proverbs chapter 1, verse 5. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels.
You see, a wise man will hear. That's why you drop knowledge on them when they're young, because they're going to be soaking that up like a sponge. The same way they soaking up how to speak them ABCs and 1, 2, 3, hey, drop that wisdom on them and they will hear it and will increase in learning. And a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. I mean, he gonna constantly be coming back looking for more. But our brothers are not being raised with that. We being raised with, hey, what Snoop Dogg say, what Yo Gotti said, what NBA Youngboy say, you know, what P. Diddy said. But read on, King. We're gonna read down to verse 10 or 11, I believe.
All right. Verse 6. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings.
Read.
Verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction.
See that in order to understand proverbs or interpretation or the words of the wise or dark sayings, you got to fear the Lord to do these things. But fools despise wisdom and instruction. A lot of us been raised to go out and be fools in this world. We were not given the wisdom that was needed in order to succeed, you know? And that goes back from generation to generation. Ever since we've been over here in this land of captivity, we've been over here void of understanding. Going out into the world as fools, going out into the world to find ourselves when we should have been found and located in the houses that we were being raised in. We should never leave the house to go find ourselves in the world. That's foolishness. How is it that you can live under the roof with anybody for 18 to 20 or longer years and leave the house to go out into the world to try to find yourself? That makes no sense. You should leave the house knowing exactly who you are, having identity, having purpose when you leave. Not going out there not knowing nothing about who you are, what you stand for, what your purpose, what your mission in life is. That's foolishness. But read on, King.
Yes, sir. My son, hear the instruction of thy father and forsake not the law of thy mother.
This is what I really wanted to get out of this, to explain furthermore what the woman was speaking about in that video. She said, this is what I teach my sons about finding the right woman to wife, so to speak. The scriptures say, my son, hear the instruction of thy father and forsake not the law of thy mother. Don't forsake it. Don't skip over it. Don't ignore it, because they are trying to prevent you from making an ass out of yourself, so to speak. You know, they don't want you to go through the heartache and pain, the headaches. They want you to do better than they did.
Right.
So this is why it's important for us to be taught to seek that wisdom and to teach it to our kids. But that woman was saying, hey, this is what I teach my sons, just like it's written in the book of Proverbs. We'll get there in a little bit. Let's go to Sirach right quick. The book of Sirach, chapter 25.
All right.
And this is a book of wisdom. That's why the whole Bible is a book of wisdom, but these books in particular. Let's go to Sirach 25 and 3.
All right. The book of Sirach, chapter 25 and verse 3. If thou hast gathered nothing in thy youth, how can thou find anything in thy age?
If you ain't gathered no wisdom in your youth, how you gonna find it in thine age when you getting older? You're gonna ignore the hell out of it. Think about that. If thou hast gathered nothing in thy youth but video games and foolishness, what you think you gonna miraculously just change your mind and your mindset, your spirit when you get older to want to seek wisdom? Hell no. You gotta have that in you.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be taught at an early age, like we was talking about earlier. Don't just sit your child in front of the TV or hand them a phone and expect that to build them up. It's gonna build them up, all right, with wickedness and an ignorance toward the laws of the Most High, because we are not, as parents, taking the time to teach them the thing that's needed.
And we see that every week when we out teaching. a lot of time we try to teach an older man. He hadn't been taught nothing coming up, so now he's set in his ways. And when you tell him something, they don't want to hear. They're not willing to listen and accept or even try to make a change because they just set in their ways. They weren't taught as a child.
Right. Like the scriptures say, a wise man will hear wisdom and he will attain to it. It don't matter if it coming from somebody younger or somebody older.
Right.
But like the brother saying, you talk to an older brother, hey, if you ain't older than him, he ain't trying to hear you.
He ain't trying to hear you.
He's stuck. He's set in his ways. How can he find it in thine age?
Right.
You telling him the things that's gonna help him. He's saying, hey, you ain't older than me. I can't listen to you. That's foolish as hell.
Right. He got a head full of gray hair and you ain't got none, but you out there putting the word out the right way. He's not gonna listen.
Brother, I be having all these issues. Hey, change your diet, brother. Thus saith the Lord. Nah, man, I've been eating this all my life. You foolish as hell. That's why you single, brother. Because you stuck in your ways. You have not examined the matter. You have not examined yourself. That's why your relationships keep failing, because you're not examining yourself. You're still pointing the finger. You know? And you think it's cool to just run around and sleep with other women thinking something good gonna come out of it. Nah. But let's jump down to verse 21. We're gonna read that at 23.
All right.
This is some things that a man should know, but I'm guaranteeing that he's not being taught this because the complete opposite is what is promoted to us through the TV. But read it.
All right. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman and desire her not for pleasure.
You see that? What's the motto? What they say in business or in marketing? Sex sells. That's what they promote. They selling you a pack of cigarettes. They got a woman in a bikini smoking or holding a pack. You know? Stumble not at the beauty of a woman and desire her not for pleasure. That's all that they promote on the TV. Shit, I ain't gonna get into that, but read on.
All right. Verse 22. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach.
You see that? If she maintain her husband, meaning the man she laying down with, you know, even if she ain't married to him, if this woman is maintaining and taking care of this man, she gonna be full of anger. That's going on today. And a lot of brothers today who are single, so to speak, think that's cool. They laying up in different women's houses, got the women taking care of them. They driving their cars while they at work. They sitting on the couch, cracking their toes, eating Cheetos, Earl, flipping through the damn cable channels while she at work. She come home, they try to get down in the bed, then they up the next day, going to the next woman's house, still doing the same thing. That's wicked. That's a weak-natured man right there. But society think that's being a pimp or a player, letting her just bring you the money. It's a weak-natured man right there. Read on.
All right. Verse 23. A wicked woman abideth the courage maketh and heavy countenance and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress maketh weak hands and feeble knees.
Well, that's not really what I want to. That's going to be in part 2. But nonetheless, what I wanted to do was give some wisdom out right there, talking about how brothers should not be stumbling at the beauty of a woman and desire her not for pleasure, you know. All right. But show themselves to be men. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 2, verse 2. I should have went here at the beginning of the class, but 1 Kings chapter 2, we'll start at 1.
All right.
Read down to 2.
1 Kings chapter 2, verse 1.
Yes, sir. 1 and 2.
Book of 1 Kings, chapter 2, verse 1. Now the days of David drew nigh that he should die, and he charged Solomon his son, saying, I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man, and keep the charge of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes, and his commandments, and his judgments, and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, and whatsoever thou turnest thyself.
You see that? David was charging his son, saying, hey, show yourself to be a man. Today, like we were speaking about earlier in the class, what we know to be a man today is just somebody that paid a bill. Somebody that's supposedly good in bed, got a nice car and a nice house, dressed nice, whatever. That's not what a man is considered in the scriptures. You didn't read anything in that David was telling Solomon about being a man. Hey, man, make sure your bank account is fat. Make sure you got the best car. Make sure you're good in the bed. He ain't say none of that. He said, show thyself a man and keep the charge of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, meaning your jobs, your business ventures, your relationship, your family endeavors, and whithersoever thou turnest thyself. You want to be successful in life, son? Show thyself a man by following the ways of the Lord. He ain't say nothing about getting your bank account up, getting degrees on your wall, getting a damn Maybach. He ain't tell you go out there and get Gucci down, have 10, 15 women on your arm. He ain't tell you to do that. That ain't what David told Solomon. He said, be thou strong, therefore. The mindset that we had today as a people, as men, is a weak-natured man, weak-natured. Weak. We don't hold ourselves accountable. We want to blame everybody. That's a female tendency. You know, we want to blame everybody. We don't want to apologize when we fall short. You know, nobody can tell us nothing. And the scripture tells us, how in the hell is earth and ashes proud? That's a prideful mindset. When you know you're wrong, but you can't bring yourself to say, my bad, I messed up. That's a weak mind. Go ahead, King.
Not just saying that right there. It's something we have to work on, that we definitely need to work on. Like you said, knowing you wrong but can't admit to it.
Mm-hmm.
That alone will solve a lot of problems.
Yep.
And it's easy to do. But for some reason, like you said, why Earth and Ash is proud, they have a lot of fear. We just can't do it.
Mm-hmm. And this right here, this video I'm going to show you would actually help with that if we had individuals that would do this. All right. What's the name of it right quick? All right. Now, a lot of brothers who see this, they might say, man, hell nah. But this is what we actually need around us. All right. Pay attention to the video.
Let me tell you something.
Yoke them up.
If your wife questions me about your actions, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm one of the ones that will check. I don't care who it is, because I expect them to check me. So I'm gonna check. Now it's brotherhood. Dog, you don't have to like me tonight. We'll talk about it tomorrow. But right now, dog, you don't grab nobody's hand. You don't grab nobody's waist and say, "Well, I ain't around my old lady." Now you around me though, and you're in your presence, dude. Everybody wants to put us on the platform of we all hoes. And like, wait a minute, no, we got guys in here with we are about substance around here. And some of our guys are married, and you're gonna walk in because you're not around your wife. Oh no, quickly. When I say quickly, I will grab, dude, don't now. But he was around the Salt Pepper gang, and then no, because again, I told him, like I'm your eyes without you being there. So I represent you when you're not there. I'm not gonna let these guys, and I'll tell them, hey Doc, you had too much. Don't drink no more. You're good.
That's good.
Or you disrespect them. No, don't do that. And I don't have no problem doing it. I don't care. I listen. Anytime that it's gonna take us to a level that's gonna drive down what we do in the community, I'm gonna be the first one on board. Now that's bull. That I'll put you to the side.
You see that? Now a lot of people see that and be like, man, that brother weak right there. Now that's a brother that he might not understand the scripture, but that's a commandment that we're supposed to do as a nation of people. I'm gonna bring that out right quick. And let's go to Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17. We have to have individuals in our corner that's going to hold us accountable. You know, going to keep us upright. Without that, our nation, our families fall. Because we can't trust each other. We'll do whatever, and it's all right in each other's eyes. That's why we got to consistently grow to get back to where we used to be. Let's get Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him.
Read that again, because I don't think a lot of our brothers wanted to hear that law right there.
All right. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him.
And not suffer sin upon him. You're supposed to rebuke thy neighbor. That's what that brother was saying in that video. He said, I ain't going to stand around here and watch my brother go off and destroy his marriage. He done had a little too much to drink. He in there getting a little touchy-feely. You know, the alcohol getting the best of him. Hey, it's my job as a friend, as an accountable brother or sister, or brother, I'll just leave it at that, to pull that brother to the side. You done had too much to drink, bro. Even if he want to get hostile or whatever, hey, your life is in danger. You know, hey, don't be trying to holler at that. You don't know who that is, who she may know, who else is in this club. Hey, you done had too much to drink, bro. You know, keeping your brothers upright. Read that one more time, King.
Yes, sir. Thou shalt not hate the. I'm call it out again. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him.
You should not hate thy brother in thy heart. Because if you did not feel the need to do these things, that means you truly do hate your brother. If you would let him do all type of wickedness, hey, you truly do hate your brother. And that's the decayed state of our nation of people right now. You know, nobody holds each other accountable, whether male or female. You know, thou shalt in any wise rebuke, correct that brother. Don't let him go down that sinful path to destroy his family, to destroy his household, to destroy his life. We got to be able to hold each other accountable, and we need those type of people in our circles. You know what I'm saying? And this is another thing that we should have as well when it come down to the woman that we decide to be with. Just say you've been friends with you got friends in a circle that you've been friends with for years, decades. You decide and you meet a woman that I think she might be the one or whatever the case, or before you even get to that point, you need to have your friends examine. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of us, we don't respect the opinions of the people that we hang around. Nor do we even think highly of them to even bring that to them. Hey, man, what do you think of her? You know, is she a good woman? Is it something that you see that I don't see? You know, discernment. You know, brother might be head over heels. He just in love with how she looked. But everybody else seeing other things that this brother ain't able to see.
Yeah. Sometimes those looks will blind you to other things that you should be paying attention to, that your buddy's paying attention to.
Right. You ignoring all the red flags.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's so fine to you, or you ain't been with a woman in so long, you just ignoring everything for the hell of it. But when you bring her around, you know, as a man, you should respect the people that you hang around, to even your family members, to say, hey, what do you think?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of us don't do these things, you know. So we end up in relationships that fail because we don't seek counsel. We do not seek counsel. Let me get Proverbs chapter 11 right quick.
All right.
We don't seek counsel. I meant to bring this out
Counsel.
early. Say that again.
No, I just was saying, and that counsel is very important.
That's right. Give me Proverbs 11 and 14.
All right.
I was supposed to bring this out at the beginning of the class, but since we
11,
talked about it.
11 and
11 and
14.
14. Yes, sir.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 14. Where no counsel is, the people fall, but in the multitude of the counsels there is safety.
You see that? Where there is no counsel, the people will fall. The relationships will fall. But in the multitude of counselors, meaning your friends, your family members, your parents, the multitude of counselors, there is safety, because they're going to give you perspectives that you don't see, that you might not see, you might not agree with, give you other things to look at, to examine, you know. And this is another way as to what these videos that we bringing out actually represent counsel. You might not agree with the videos, but it's safety in the multitude of those different counsels that you're watching tonight, because they're giving you warning signs on how to discern who you're trying to be with, to examine yourself. It's safety in it, you know. But the main thing is, where there is no counsel, the people will fail or fall. And that's exactly what's happening to us as a nation of people right now. All right. Let's go to Genesis chapter 24 right quick. Genesis chapter 24. And we're going to start at verse 1. We're going to read the whole chapter. Well, I'll read it. Genesis chapter 27 right quick.
You said 27?
24, excuse me. Now, this is a story. Well, we'll read it. This is Genesis chapter 24, verse 1. It says, and Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house that ruled over all that he had, put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and I will make thee swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I dwell. But thou shalt go unto my country and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac. So he was giving charge to his servant to go find Isaac a wife. And the servant said unto him, peradventure, the woman will not be willing to follow me unto this land. Must I needs bring thy son again unto the land from whence thou camest? So the servant saying, hey, I might not be able to convince the woman to follow me into this land. And Abraham said unto him, beware thou that thou bring not my son thither again. So he like, nah, you're not taking my son. The Lord God of heaven, which took me from my father's house and from the land of my kindred, and which spake unto me, and that sware unto me, saying, unto thy seed will I give this land, he shall send his angel before thee, and thou shalt take a wife unto my son from thence. So he breaking it down to the servant. This is where the Lord said he gonna get his son. The wife for his son. And if the woman will not be willing to follow thee, then thou shalt be clear from this my oath. Only bring not my son thither again. And the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham his master, and sware to him concerning that matter. And the servant took 10 camels of the camels of his master, and departed, for all the goods of his master were in his hand. And he arose and went into Mesopotamia unto the city of Nahor. So that's letting you know right there off top that how they say today how Abraham was balling. The man had 10 camels. He had more than that. But the servant just took 10 of them. All right. Verse 11. And he made his camels to kneel down without the city by a well of water at the time of the evening, even the time that women go out to draw water. All right. And he said, O Lord, God of my master Abraham, I pray thee, send me good speed this day and show kindness unto my master Abraham. Behold, I stand here by the well of water, and the daughters of the men of the city come out to draw water. And let it come to pass that the damsel to whom I shall say, let down thy pitcher, I pray thee, that I may drink, and she shall say, drink, and I will give thy camels drink also. Let the same be she that thou hast appointed for thy servant Isaac. And thereby shall I know that thou hast showed kindness unto my master. So this is the servant. This is the servant of Abraham praying to the Most High. He's praying for what he need help with, all right, to find a wife of Isaac. And it came to pass before he had done speaking that, behold, Rebekah came out, who was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with her pitcher upon her shoulder. So here come Rebekah coming out the city. And the damsel was very fair to look upon, a virgin, neither had any man known her. And she went down to the well and filled her pitcher and came up. So Rebekah, it said very fair to look upon, meaning she was a very beautiful sister. A virgin, meaning a woman of marital age. Neither had any man known her, so she still had her virginity. She went down to the well and filled her pitcher and came up. And the servant ran to meet her and said, let me, I pray thee, drink a little water of thy pitcher. And she said, drink, my lord. And she hasted and let down her pitcher upon her hand and gave him drink. And when she had done giving him drink, she said, I will draw water for thy camels also, until thou have done drinking. Now, you can't even find that going on today, where a woman is willing to do that. Hey, let me get some of that water. Man, hey, I don't know you. I ain't giving you no water. What the hell? No. Then, let alone, she just voluntarily said, I'm going to give water to your camels also. That's a whole different mindset. This is why we got to find the old past. This is where we got to go back to as men and women. And she hasted and emptied her pitcher into the trough and ran again into the well to draw water and drew for all his camels. That's some work right there. But think about it. Like that brother said in the video at the beginning of the class, everything should be transparent, but everything now is transactional. What do you think that woman would have had to get in exchange for her to feed them camels in today's term or in today's society? There had to have been some bread on the table or some type of promise. But this man just said, hey, sis, can I get some water? Yeah, drink. And she went and fed the camels too. Think about that mindset right there. All right. And the man wondering at her held his peace. He like, oh, praises. That's what he's saying when he held his peace, to wit whether the Lord had made his journey prosperous or not. And it came to pass, as the camels had done drinking, that the man took a golden earring of half a shekel weight and 2 bracelets for her hands and 10 shekels weight of gold. So he repaid her, he rewarded her, and said, whose daughter art thou? Tell me, I pray thee, is there room in thy father's house for us to lodge in? And she said unto him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, which she bare unto Nahor. She said, moreover, unto him, we have both straw and provender enough and room to lodge in. And the man bowed down his head and worshiped the Lord. And he said, blessed be the Lord God of my master Abraham, who have not left destitute my master of his mercy and his truth. I being in the way, the Lord led me to the house of my master's brethren. And the damsel ran and told them of her mother's house these things. So what we need to understand from there is that the servant prayed to the Most High to find a wife for Isaac that was ordained. Now, when it come down to proving or praying for who we seeking, we got to prepare ourselves for these things. And that's a commandment, thus saith the Lord. Let's go to, let me see where I had it at. Yeah, Sirach chapter 18 right quick. Sirach chapter 18, verse 23.
The book of Sirach, chapter 18, verse 23. Before thou prayest, prepare thyself, and be not as one that tempteth the Lord.
You see that? Before thou prayest, prepare thyself, and be not as one that tempt the Lord. So you looking for a wife? Oh, Lord, please send me the woman I need. Hey, before you praying, you need to be at that level to be able to even take care of that woman that you're praying for. To even have the mindset to lead that woman that you're praying for. To have that mindset to be a husband or to be a father for that woman that you're praying for. Before thou prayest, prepare thyself. A lot of us, we ain't preparing for nothing because we don't have that mindset. Like I said beforehand, or like we all know, majority of men are not being taught how to be men because society don't teach men what men is. It's a stereotypical mindset of what they have categorized a man to be today. And it's the furthest thing from the truth. You know, before thou prayest, though, prepare thyself. And that's with anything in life. You praying for a new job or a bigger house, hey, you need to be preparing yourself to be able to take care of that house, to be able to pay for it, to maintain it. You want to, what else? Give me an example, brother. Something to pray for that you got to prepare yourself for.
Right. Some people pray for a new car.
Right.
Brand new car. But like you said, prepare yourself. Don't pray for a brand new car when you ain't got no job. That don't make sense. How you gonna keep it?
Right.
Prepare yourself by having a job that you can maintain the car notes of the new car.
Mm-hmm.
Sense for the Lord to bless you with something that's gonna eventually get taken away from you by you getting a car, but you can't keep it up because you ain't got no job. You can have credit that they give you a car. You ain't got no job, you ain't gonna keep it.
Exactly. So what we see right here is exactly what was going on in that scripture. The brother prayed before he even went down there. He was already prepared for the result because he was sent on a mission, but he needed help going on that mission. So he prayed to the Most High, but he was already prepared beforehand. All right. So going back to Genesis, all right, verse 28, and the damsel ran and told them of her mother's house these things. And Rebekah had a brother, and his name was Laban. Hold on, that's all I wanted on that. Basically, what I wanted to bring out is how the servant went to find Rebekah, which was Isaac's wife. He prayed for what he wanted or for what he needed, but it was prepared for that. So as brothers, when you're looking for the right woman, don't neglect what the Lord has said, trying to go out there and find a woman based on how she look or what you think you need. You know, pray to the Most High. First off, seek the old ways and keep these commandments. Build yourself up with wisdom and discernment so that you can understand what you need in this life. You know, a lot of brothers just want to go get a woman and put on their arm just to have arm candy. A lot of brothers just go get a sister just to have one. You know, a lot of brothers go get a sister and want her to do every damn thing. A lot of brothers want a sister just because of status quo. You know, have no idea what the hell they doing, but they want a sister so bad they dedicate all their time every day, all day, looking for a woman and don't know how to prepare or how to maintain or do any of these things.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes the brother go looking for the best looking woman he can find, not realize that woman gonna be the one driving crazy. You can't, like I said, you can't go off looks. Some of the natural attractive women can be some of the best wives.
Exactly. I know I done heard here recently, not that I agree with everything in it, 100%, but a lot of brothers will say things like, don't go for the woman that you like, go for the woman that like you, you know, because she'll be loyalty and she'll goddamn go to war for you, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fitting for what the next video is. Bear with me right quick. Yeah, that's it. This is a way to discern the woman that you want to be with, brother and sister.
If you want to go into a relationship, ask yourself one question. Would you take this person to war with you? If the answer is yes, he's the right person.
Think about that.
If you want to go into a relationship, ask yourself one question. Would you take this person to war with you? If the answer is yes, he's the right person.
Think about that. If you decide to make this individual somebody that you want to build a family with, you want to make this person your wife, you know, you need to consider what you're dealing with. Is this person somebody that you would go to war with? And when we're talking about war, it's not talking about just going out there in the battlefield, but think of it on another level, even if it was going to the battlefield. Going into the battlefield, somebody got to lead. So are they willing to follow you through the trenches? You know, are they ready to duck and dodge them bullets like you would need on the battlefield?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you got hurt, are they going to be able to help bandage you up? Are they going to be able to uphold you? Be that support, that pillar of rest. The one that's going to be able to help bandage and motivate you to keep going instead of giving up and dying and quitting. You know? That's what it's talking. That's what she's talking about right there. Can you go to war with this person day in and day out? Or are you just going to be one of them brothers that's just trying to give you, like he said, like that woman said, you're going to be working overtime just to put on a pedestal. When times get tough or get rough, she ain't nowhere to be found. You lose your job, she gone. You need somebody you can go to war with. You know, somebody you can depend on. Go ahead, King.
Right. And when you go to war, what you want? You want somebody that's gonna watch your back. You know what I'm saying? You need them to watch your back, not shoot you in the back. And then what happens in some of these marriages? You expecting that person to watch you in your back, they end up stabbing you in the back. You know? You have to be careful.
That's right. Let's go to Sirach chapter 6 right quick. Sirach chapter 6. It's a lot of different precepts that will help you brothers to understand your role and how to discern or vet the woman of your choice, but you got to open the book and read it. You can't be those who be like one of those brothers that give the Lord the cold shoulder and say, I know how to do this. I can do it on my own. I've been doing it this long. Nah, go get some wisdom, brother. All right. Let's get Sirach chapter 6, verse 7.
Book of Sirach, chapter 6, verse 7. If thou wouldst get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him.
Yeah, if you see this woman, yeah, she might be attractive to you, but what else? Like that brother said, what do they bring to this imaginary table? What else? Looks fade. What else? Can this individual cook? Can they hold you down? You know, do they speak kind words to you? Do they motivate you? Do they exhort you? What else besides good looks? If thou will get a friend, prove them first and be not hasty. Meaning, don't be quick to credit them and say, that's my wife. That's my future wife right there, just because she look good. Nah, that's foolish as hell.
And you have to sit back and ask yourself what kind of mother would she be?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you have some, if she has some girls, will she be able to bring the daughters up the right way?
Right.
You know, sometimes we don't look that far down the line. We be living for the day.
You ain't lying. That's a great point, King. How would this woman hold you down, hold the household down? How is she in public? How does she dress? Is she willing to listen to you? Can you lead this type of woman, or is she gonna end up leading you? Can you talk to her? Is she gonna overtalk you? You gotta discern. You gotta prove a person first. You know how they carry themselves. What's their reputation? You
I
know.
know that I got a buddy, and you know he in the same situation, not proving someone. Met somebody, had children bound, uh, and now he mad because she's not I guess hasn't matured the way he wanted her to mature. And he got a problem with how she raising children. But he like what, 13, 14 years older than them. She want her to be on his level.
Hmm.
So you know, it
Well,
just
if he had his mindset where it needed to be, hey, he would be teaching her to get her mindset where it needed to be. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Putting
Right.
that wisdom in, building her up. She can be right there where you at. Like they say in the world, age ain't nothing but a number. You know what I'm saying? But if you teaching constantly, you can get there. All right. Read on, King.
All right. Verse 8.
This goes for men and women, though. But go ahead.
Blow it up a little bit for me.
You ain't got your book?
Yeah. We was in okay.
Verse 8.
Say, for some man is a excuse me. For some man is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of the trouble, in the day of thy trouble.
You see that? This is why you got to be able to discern your friend or your mate, whoever you trying to be with, even the circle of friends. For some man is a friend for his own occasion and will not abide in the day of that trouble. We spoke about that earlier. Everybody not there for your best interest. Just like that woman was saying, she told her sons, hey, you working overtime to put on a pedestal, hey, she ain't going to be there in the time of trouble because you didn't prove her. You were just caught up with her beauty. You didn't prove her as a friend. You didn't prove her. You was just hasty to credit her. That's what I want. And you going after it, and it ain't even worth it. Read on.
All right. Verse 9. And there is a friend who's being turned to enmity and strife will discover thy reproach.
And that's going into when you get into it, this person just flipped the script on you. Stop telling everybody y'all business. Flipping the script on you. There's a friend who being turned to enmity and strife will discover thy reproach. Air out all your business. Make you look like a fool. But you like, hey, that's my friend. That's my girl. That's my wife. Nah, you gotta vet these individuals. You got to be discernful. Excuse me. You got to approve them. But read again. Keep reading.
All right. Verse 10. Again, some friend is a companion at the table and will not continue in the day of thy affliction.
He said that twice. Twice. He said right here in verse 8, will not abide in the day of trouble and will not continue in the day of affliction. That's the same thing. Lord telling you over and over again. Read.
Verse 11. But in thy prosperity he will be as thyself and will be hold over thy servants. And will be bold over thy servants.
So when y'all living good and everything going right, you know, you bringing in that money, you keeping on that pedestal, giving her everything she want. Hey, everything good. And she gonna be bold over thy servants, you know. They're like some of these celebrity wives. Be bold over their servants. Like she did everything, but read.
All right. Verse 12. If thou be brought low, he will be against thee and will hide himself from thy face.
You see that once again. If thou be brought low, he will be against thee and will hide himself from thy face. So you going through adversity, ups and downs, your trials and tribulations. These individuals going to be against you and will hide themselves from you. See that? Read.
Verse 13. Separate thyself from thine enemies and take heed of thy friends.
That's wisdom right there that our brothers and sisters need to understand. Mainly you brothers we talking to today, you know. Understand that. Let me see. Is there any more? Jump down to verse 16.
Verse 16. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him.
You see that? That faithful woman, she will be medicine of life for you and that friend. And they that fear the Lord shall find him. Understand that right there, brothers. So that woman, you want that faithful woman to be that medicine of life for you, that woman that's going to uphold you, exhort you, make sure you straight, bring peace to your life. Hey, she'll be given to you. You'll find her when you fear the Lord. Understand that. So if you moving and you still single and you like, damn, why it ain't working? First off, you need to fear the Lord. Fear the Lord by keeping his commandments and doing the things that he wants you to do. And the Lord gonna bring that woman, that friend, that is medicine of life to you. All right. Where I'm at. Got another video. We almost done though. Now, this is something else that brothers need to consider. A lot of brothers just be caught up on looks and wanting to have somebody, but they don't pay attention to this.
Ask this one question to a woman and she will reveal everything to you about her past. And that question is, do you think a woman's past matters? This question works because of something called projection bias. When people answer general questions, they often base a response to their own life experiences without even realizing it. So by framing the question broadly, you allow her to project her own biases and beliefs onto the response, which then reveals the truth. If she has a complicated or questionable past, she's more likely to defend the idea that the past doesn't matter. behavior, reflecting her unconscious need to justify her own actions. This is because of something called a cognitive dissonance, where people rationalize their behaviors to align with their current values or self-image. On the other hand, if her past is more stable or respectable, she's more likely to say, yes, the past does matter, because she has nothing to hide and might even feel proud of her decisions. So by asking this question, you can learn more about her without directly asking about her past. Her response will naturally reveal how she sees herself and her own choices. Be sure to follow for more dating psychology.
You see that? Giving you game, so to speak, on how to discern whether the woman that you're dealing with is worth dealing with. The one that you find so attractive, is she the one? Let me ask a couple questions, because that's how we learn, by asking questions. You know, you got to ask the right questions, though, and then you got to hear the response and hear the things that are not being said. You know? All right. Got another one.
Men, we give life, a woman gives birth. If I put my seed in messed up soil, what do you expect the harvest to be? So men, we got to do self-inventory to say, hold on, you fine, baby, but you're not refined. For me, you are cute, but you're not acute with the way that I look at information and process information. So then we're not going to be in alignment. So when you just saying, oh, she fine, she got to walk, but you're not hearing what she talk, you just looking at that walk, you get in trouble. And it happened to me. I'm talking to me because I'm not casting my stone and throwing stones at anyone else. I'm talking about the self-inventory that I do for me. You can't call your baby mother crazy. She was who she was before you laid down with her, but you didn't have the discernment to see it because you was thinking with taste, touch, see, smell, and hear instead of intuition, discernment, and clairvoyance. They call it the third eye, but really it's your first eye. Your spiritual eye is your first eye. If you lead with your first eye, these two eyes can't be deceived. But if you lead with your two physical eyes, your spiritual eye can be deceived because the physical is an illusion. The problem.
You see that? This is what the brother was talking about earlier. How we can't look at others and point the finger. Hey, they you ignore the red flags. It was there from the beginning. But because we don't hold each other accountable, or we don't hold ourselves accountable, we live that life with the point the finger mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So as this brother was saying, hey, I'm gonna play it one more time from the beginning.
Men, we give life, a woman gives birth. If I put my seed in messed up soil, what do you expect the harvest to be? So men, we got to do self-inventory to say, hold on, you fine, baby, but you're not refined. For me, you are cute, but you're not acute with the way that I look at information.
You see, that's what the brother was saying. You're not built for me. You know, you might be fine and whatnot, but you don't think on the level I need you to think on. You know, you might be light-minded. You know, you're not gonna be a mother material. You can't do the basic things that are needed. You know, your looks are only gonna get you so far. But these are the things that men have to look at instead of just looking at looks, because that's all we've been programmed to look at these days. Look at her face, look at her hips, look at her body shape. You know. And that's about it. But we got to dig deeper. Just like this brother's saying right here. Did I have another one? Yeah. Bear with me. I got one more.
What did that look like for a woman to be manipulative?
Oh, I'm gonna tell you what you want to hear. And I'm gonna act like I'm so in love with you. But the truth is, I don't love you, because to love somebody, you have to respect them. And respect comes from trust.
Wow.
Right?
Oh.
And even though respect is given and trust is earned, they go hand in hand. They're in tandem.
Yeah.
So manipulation looks like, nah, the truth is, yeah, we're dating and I'm comfortable here, but I know I'm not gonna settle here because you are loyal to me, but I'm loyal to myself.
Oh my.
So you never felt connection, you only felt attachment. And now I understand from this whole catch and release generation that the fact that I am starving you and depriving you of emotional fulfillment and spiritual security, and I'm depriving you of the desire that you have to take it to the next level, the covenant. You know how many people ask me to marry them and I laugh? Not ask me like get down on a knee, but hey, so would you get married? I don't know. I don't think so. And it's funny because then when I got saved, that's all I want. Isn't it funny? The very thing you hate, you become.
Wow. What did that look like for a
Can't make this up. She was just honest enough to bring it out and put it on the table. You know, don't tell a man what he want to hear to get what she want out of him. Meanwhile, he think he doing his best. He doing the best that he can. Hey, she just comfortable in the situation. This is another level of discernment, brothers, where you got to really understand what it is that you're doing, who you're choosing. Go ahead, King.
Yeah, I just was saying in situations like that, a man, he can't be gullible with her because she'll make a fool out of him.
Right. When you don't have discernment, hey, anybody make a fool out of you.
Yeah.
But she was putting it out there raw. You know. She said, you loyal to me, but I'm just an attachment, basically. We play that one more time.
woman to be manipulative?
Oh, I'm going to tell you what you want to hear. And I'm going to act like I'm so in love with you. But the truth is, I don't love you because to love somebody, you have to respect them. And
to love somebody, you got to respect them. You see that? Respect them. Meaning, you say, for example, you showing up to take them out on a date. And they say, man, the hell with that. Make them wait. That ain't respect right there. Especially if you done came from a long distance to see this individual. It don't even matter if you came across town. You say you're going to be there at this time, be ready. And you get there, that person still got you waiting. They don't respect you or your time.
respect comes from trust.
Wow.
Right? Oh. And even though respect is given and trust is earned, they go hand in hand. They're in tandem.
Yeah.
So manipulation looks like, nah, the truth is, yeah, we're dating and I'm comfortable here, but I know I'm not going to settle here.
She said, I'm comfortable here, but I'm not going to settle here. Yeah, I'm going to use all the benefits I can get until I find something else.
Because you are loyal to me, but I'm loyal to myself.
You see that? Loyal, you loyal to me. You doing everything I want you to do, but I'm loyal to myself. That's today's generation.
Oh my.
So you never felt connection, you only felt attachment. And now
you never felt connection, only an attachment. She pick up the phone when she feel like talking to you. You know what I'm saying? But you dedicating your whole day in life to this individual.
Understand from this whole catch and release generation that the fact that I am starving you and depriving you of emotional fulfillment and spiritual security, and I'm depriving you of the desire that you have to take it to the next level, the covenant. Do you know how many people ask me to marry them and I laugh? Not ask me like get down on a knee, but hey, so would you get married? I don't know. I don't think so. And it's funny because then when I got saved, that's all I want. Isn't it funny?
That's wild right there. So, brothers, you must be aware of what's going on in this world. What you're dealing with in these last times. As the scriptures say, the world gets older and grows weaker, evils shall increase. That's an evil mindset that she had, but she was being raw with it. She was telling you the truth. And as we brought out earlier, a multitude of counselors. There's safety in this when you watch these and listen to these videos. When you talk to your brothers and sisters, there's safety in it. You might not agree with everything, but it's going to make your head think, damn, what am I doing? That's what you're supposed to be doing, thinking, praying to the Most High, asking questions.
That's right.
Let me get Proverbs 31:3. Proverbs 31:3.
Proverbs 31 and 3. Book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 3. Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings.
That was another mother talking to her son, King Lemuel. Read that again, what she said.
All right. It was Proverbs 31 and
3.
6. Get 3. Oh, my bad. Give not Proverbs chapter 31, verse 3. Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings.
She was telling her son, hey, because he was a king. When you read verse 1, it said the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. So this was a king. And she said, give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. This is the mindset that we have to have as men. You can't give your strength over to women. You cannot do that. That's a commandment. It's the words of the Lord. You like the woman said, you working 8 days a week to put this woman on a pedestal. She don't want to answer your calls. You depressed. You give me your strength. Instead of you learning the words of the Lord, you trying to figure out how to make her happy. How to make them happy. Hey, that's a weak nature. That's a weak mindset to have. You know, don't give your strength over to women. You're supposed to be strong for the woman, not give your strength over. And as we read earlier, it said a wicked woman abateth the courage, the strength of a man. Think about that. But this is another video I got right here to help you brothers out.
Being out of the dating scene for a while, how do you know if a man is being sincere or genuine?
The interesting thing about being a former toxic man, the thing is, all the things that you guys said, thank you, because I'm watching these podcasts too. Thank you for telling me what you need a man to do and how you need him to show up, because I'm paying attention to that too. Matter of fact, I'm taking notes. You said you want to be a Proverbs 31 woman. I'm going to Google that under the table and say, yeah, I'm looking for a God too. I'm doing that because here's the thing. If I've always been toxic, I know that doesn't work. And I have to pretend to be something I'm not to get something I want from you. No man is going to come to the first date and say how he's going to use you, mislead you, and take advantage of you. No one is going to tell you their true intentions is just to get that and leave. No one is going to tell you that I haven't been in a committed relationship meaningfully in years and all I've mastered was the art of the chase. So what you have to do is bring your discernment. It is easy to sit up here and give you some signs you should watch out for, but I watch these podcasts, I know what you're looking for, and I know how to pivot, I know how to pretend, and I know how to act like I'm something I'm not. What you have to do, though, in order to combat this, is you have to give yourself time before you get your heart involved.
Give yourself time. A lot of us, we don't want to give ourselves time to develop. And even when we have the time, we neglect the time that we have to develop ourselves. We don't want to reflect on what happened in the past, our shortcomings, where we need to grow. We say, the hell with that. I won't. We're not preparing ourselves for what we want or what we're asking for. You know?
The weeds and the wheat separate themselves. To his point, there is only so long someone can pretend to be genuine if they're not getting what they want from you. You cannot fall fast and hard for men before you know authentically who they are over seasons of your life. You met this man in winter, you fell in love in winter. And that's why you keep getting messed up.
You see that? No counsel, no discernment. That go for men and women. We got to be looking at every aspect in all seasons of who we dealing with before we say, you know what, that's who I want to lay down with. That's who I want to make my wife. That's who I want to raise a family with. Don't just go off of some lustful feelings some the sweet nothings being whispered in your ear.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Reason why you're single because you're not following thus saith the Lord.
Right.
You're not even requesting what the Lord got. You're going everywhere else to find a covering to live under everything but what the Lord got to say. Let's go to Proverbs 3 and 5 to end the class with. 3, 5, and 6. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 and 6.
All right. Book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and lean not on thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path.
See that? Don't trust in your own understanding on what you've been taught in this world, what you've seen in the movies and the TV show on this is how you get a woman a real wife. You know, you bringing her flowers and chocolates and teddy bears and balloons. Brother, you don't even know if she like it. You just seen it on TV. I always wanted to get a woman some flowers. She probably hate flowers. But you going to do it because that's what you seen on TV. You know. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Learn and see what the Creator actually has to say in order for you to find to find that healthy wife or your other half. Lean not unto thine own understanding, because our understanding, as we all know, is upside down, out of course. It's ignorant, it's without, it's lacking.
Mm-hmm.
So don't lean on your own understanding in today's society. In all thy ways, acknowledge him. Acknowledge the Most High. Come to him. Just like Isaac, Abraham's servant. Hey, God of Abraham, I need your help. I don't know where this woman is. Hey, I want to do right by my master. Can you make sure that she does this, that, and that? And he shall direct thy paths. And that's exactly what happened.
All right.
So that's how we got to be as men. We got to know who we are, for one, when we leave the house, knowing what the purpose is, what we're looking for. And we got to go back to the old ways. The old ways, yeah, it was arranged marriages. So this father would make a covenant with this father. He got a daughter, he got a son. Hey, they're going to make sure they married. And this father who got the daughter, he's going to be raising his daughter to be a perfect wife for this man who's being raised to be a perfect husband. Arranged marriages. And it wasn't no, they going around and sleeping with 10 people in that city and 10 people in that city. Yeah, I think I'd have found my wife now. No, or I think I'd have found my husband now. No, that's wicked as hell. That's a lost mindset that we have as a people. But at the end of the day, brothers and sisters, we got to turn back to the Lord, trust in him, and don't lean on our own understanding. Because when we single, we cannot create or build our nation, and it takes families to build a strong nation.
Right.
Not destroy households. And we all participated in it, whether we want to admit it or not. Myself included, not knowing, not understanding. But in order for our nation to be made strong again, we as men have to renew our mind. And the same thing with our daughters and our women. Our minds have to be renewed. We got to go back and search the scriptures. Stand in the old ways to find the good paths so that we can be successful in all things that we do. But you got anything you want to add, King?
Justin, I have in Genesis 2 and 18, it says, and the Lord God said, it is not good that man should be alone, which is true. But at the same time, he says it's not good that man should be alone. When you do find that person, just like we said, we have to, like we brought up earlier, we have to make sure we prove that person. Don't just go out searching for anything just to say you got a wife. You know. And like the on the video, don't meet somebody in woman and fall in love in woman. You know. That's all
right. But yeah, all praise for that. Brothers, know your roles. Know what it takes to be a man. It's not about the bank account. It's about you serving the Lord, keeping the charge. Know the role of a woman as well. Why she was created, as the brother just brought out. She was created to be a helpmeet. Not for you to put on a pedestal. She's supposed to help you. You know. That's just one scripture to give you a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of discernment to understand why you're choosing the wife that you're choosing. You know, understand your roles. Stick to the script. Follow the Lord. Do what's required. And he'll fear the Lord. That's what he said. And he will send you the wife that you need. You'll find her. You know, but prepare yourself while you praying for that woman, for that wife. All right. But on that note, I'm Brother Ananias.
Brother Ezekiel.
And we are A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel. And we pray and hope you brothers and sisters learn something tonight. If you got any questions, feel free to email us at the email you see at the top of the screen. Or go to the website as well. But nonetheless, we'll have part 2 to this class next week, dealing with the women, with the sisters. And on that note, we say shalom, shalom, peace and greetings to you all, and we out.
Hello.